I think the job of being a teacher is so rewarding in so many ways.
The connection between you and the whole class, that's still unbeatable.
When my pupils are successful, it feels incredible.
I think the greatest thing for me is seeing the pupils that I teach love the subject as much as I do.
I don't think there's any other job where you get the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
The Gamertag Radio Store is open. Get your limited edition GTR shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies right now. These are limited edition and will no longer be available after 12/31. So get one right now before they're all gone. And it's super easy. Go to store.gamertagradio.com. That's store.gamertagradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005.
Check it out.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
Back on the scene.
With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome, everybody. This is episode 720 of Gamertag Radio. I'm Paris, riding it solo this week. Thank you, everybody that's hanging out in the Twitch chat with me right now. And thank you, everyone that's listening to this podcast. Danny and Pete are out of town this week. So, like I said, it is just me. I'm going to just start rambling, talking about what I like to talk about. So, shout out to Danny and Pete. Love you guys. But, it's just Paris today. We're going to talk Paris things today, but appreciate everyone. I'm going to read a couple emails, going to play some voicemails, going to just kind of talk about the state of Bungie right now with everything that's been going on with them, talk about the PlayStation Experience, which is coming up later this week, and also talk about the Video Game Awards, which is also coming up this week. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So definitely go check us out over at gamertagradio.com. And Danny, let everyone know where they can leave us feedback.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
So let's just kick off the show. Like I said, I want to get into some listener feedback. So I'm going to read this message that was left in our Discord chat, and that's just going to kind of lead me into the first topic of the show. So let's go ahead and read that. This is from Bro Burman, and he's saying, "Hey, GTR crew, love the content as always, and very glad to be a part of this Discord community as well. My question is directed more towards Paris. Regarding Destiny 2, what are your thoughts on the game so far, and do you feel the grind in RNG is different compared to Destiny 1? I say this because I've been doing events, strikes, etc., and seem to get the same gear time and time again. I know at one point I received the same Warlock bond 3 times in a row from the Cryptarch, and just recently with Iron Banner got the same 5 items through 12 packages. I know RNG isn't always perfect, but it seems like there's some repetition, and that shouldn't be happening. I have faith the game will improve with the DLC, but seeing some of the articles around the web, do you think Destiny will lose a lot of fans before they can improve? Let me know your thoughts. Keep up the good work, guys, and see you at the dinner table, Pete Rock, for chicken dinner soon." That's a shout out to PUBG. So, like I said, I felt like this was a good entry into what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the state of Bungie right now. I mean, you guys already know, and I fully admit it, I'm a big fan of the Destiny franchise, big fan of what those guys over there are doing. I'm biased. I am. I fully admit that I'm biased when it comes to this game, and I make no qualms about that. But with that said, even though I may be biased about something, I can definitely be critical of it. And Bungie right now is at a crossroads with Destiny, with that IP. Obviously, the XP fiasco that's happened, just the lack of things to do in the end game, them not necessarily communicating the right way with the community in the past couple months since Destiny 2 has launched has created an absolute uproar, and it is warranted. And as you guys may have seen earlier this week, they canceled the live stream, and they had 2 things. They had a blog post on Bungie.net, and they also did an emergency Bungie podcast with Irk, Luke Smith, and Mark Noseworthy. And between the two things, they started the conversation to address some of the issues with Destiny 2. First and foremost, they're addressing all the changes that will be coming here later this week with the Curse of Osiris DLC. And then on December 12th, some other changes that are coming. And then they looked into the future in January, some other changes they're going to do as well, as far as like private matches for PvP. What's the other thing? Adding ranked matches for PvP. And then just other quality of life things that'll be coming along the way. And I'm not going to go down just the entire list. I mean, you can go to Bungie.net and get those. I actually want to focus more on what they talked about on the podcast, because I feel that's more important as far as dealing with the community and moving forward. They straight up admitted that they catered more towards the casual audience than their, as they put it, dedicated hobbyist audience. And I fall squarely into the hobbyist, quote unquote, hardcore audience of Destiny players, because once you got past that campaign and you got past level 20, the end game is just simply lacking. It didn't have that grind that Destiny 1 has. I feel like you're able, like he said in the message from Discord, the RNG is broken right now because you're getting the same items over and over. Once you do get a weapon, because they don't have the random rolls on it anymore, that's it. Like, I literally get the weapon once. If it's one that I like to use, I'll keep it equipped. If not, I just throw it in the vault. And when I start getting the repeated items, I just shard them. There's nothing to do. The economy is broken with the tokens. They just need to fix the end game. That's what it really comes down to. They also addressed the XP fiasco as well by stating that, they're acknowledging it. They're saying it was a mistake. It wasn't an intentional thing to push people to go buy bright engrams, obviously to fuel the microtransaction thing. And instead of straight up apologizing for it, which I think they should have, they just said our actions will speak louder than our words. So they're basically in the show me state right now. And that's kind of what I want to get to. Bungie needs to show the community that they're dedicated to fixing this game and to be transparent when it comes to communicating. Kind of like they had the state of Destiny 2 blog post. They need to kind of have that once a month to just basically give people an update on what's going on. When there is a big troubling issue that's discovered on Reddit and is blowing up on social media, instead of waiting till a PC gamer acknowledges it, address your community. Have Cosmo or Deej come out and just simply say, hey, we hear you. We're investigating it. We'll get back to you. You do that, it'll alleviate 90% of the issues that you guys are having right now. I've also noticed that Deej has definitely been a lot more engaged with the community over the past few days since all this has happened. And like I said, this is just the start. The changes that are coming, and again, just go to Bungie.net and you can read all that stuff. I'm not going to go down the complete list, just the things with the masterworks, with the weapons, the ornaments that are coming, etc. Some of the other quality of life things. It's a start, but they need a complete overhaul of just their economy system with the tokens. They're going to need an overhaul of just the weapon balancing that goes into PvP. And like I said, they need to give us things to do in the end game. And hey, like it or not, part of that is the grind. I missed the grind for the exotic quests. I mean, when the Taken King came out, that was a complete overhaul of the game, and it made Destiny the fan favorite that it is today. And they basically stripped all that out going into Destiny 2. And here we are. Am I biased? Do I have people that I can call friends over at Bungie? Yes, I am biased when it comes to that. I love playing the game. I play it with my son. I play it on the PC. I play it on the PS4. I have a clan that I'm a part of. I love all those guys and gals. But the bottom line is this. If they keep going the way that they're going, people like me, the biased people who grab the sword and shield and defend the Bungie realm on Twitter, we're going to go away. And if we go away, this game will suffer the same fate as The Division. And I'm sure Bungie doesn't want that. I'm damn sure Activision doesn't want that. And hopefully, like I said, this will be the start of all that to get those things fixed. So I'm excited to see what will happen. Again, they need to show us and not talk about it. But that is also going to require some patience on our end, because with the development cycle, there's no way you can just snap your finger and these things just happen overnight. They will take time. So, all right. rant off about Bungie. I promise I won't talk about Destiny 2 anymore. I just wanted to get that out at the top of the show because I felt that was important, because a lot of people have been asking me on social media and everything about my thoughts on it. But hey, it is what it is at this point, and Bungie really has no one to blame but themselves. So move on. And matter of fact, I'll be playing after I record today. So it just goes to show you where I am as far as still being dedicated to the game. But moving on, I want to get into the whole loot crate, loot box stuff. And I have a couple voicemails that are talking about that. So I am going to play, and this is for Danny. I'm going to play voicemail number 1 right now.
Hey, Gamertag, Robert from Virginia. Just my little 2 cents on the EA debacle. I'm with Paris. I was thinking of it right before you said it, in that, I know that these developers and, and animators and the guys that work on the game, not just sitting there trying to come up with, sneaky ways to make all this money. And they're trying to put out a really good game, and a lot of times those money-making schemes kind of come from the executives. But it would be really nice if they would come out and just take ownership and just say, hey, we effed up. Something that might be a good PR statement is they could even come along the lines of saying, hey, community, sorry, what we intended is different than what actually happened. What we intended was providing a game experience where people that didn't have to pay money would have to put in the work to get the materials, and that people that wanted to pay money that didn't quite have the time would be able to get to that part accelerated. But what ended up happening is we made a model where the people that didn't pay any money could not compete with the people that did pay money. We're sorry, we didn't intend to do that, so we're going ahead and pulling the purchases off the market. We're refunding everybody back the money they put into it until we figure this out. And then if we do have a model in the future where you will pay money, then we'll be transparent with that with our consumers. Something like that just might convince me that, hey, maybe I can put my money into this game. But I'm sorry to say that as much as I love Star Wars, I'm not going to be purchasing it. And I think that I'm going to be with a lot of other people. And that's really sad that, some developers and people put a lot of...
Okay, and he actually cut out right there at the end, but I want to thank him for that voicemail. And he's right. We've talked about this previously on the show, especially when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2. And again, just going back to Destiny 2, just this whole debacle right now with loot boxes and the microtransactions and the deception that comes with them. I think that's the biggest thing. You take a game like Warframe, which is free to play, that obviously lives on microtransactions. They are upfront about that. They're transparent about it, and the community accepts it. And that game is currently thriving right now. Again, just going back to the Destiny thing for a second, a lot of people from Destiny are switching over to Warframe as an example. And it's a game that you got to throw money at it to continue to play it, which people are fine with. It's when you try to hide the fact that you're going to have to put money into something to advance in the game or to be competitive in the game, that's what gets the community upset. I know that's what gets me upset. That's why I've told you I've not touched Battlefront 2 since this news came out. It just, for me personally, it absolutely disgusted me that EA and Disney would try to do something like this, charge you $60 for this game, but to have a true competitive edge to it, you're going to have to throw money at the situation and or grind an extreme amount of hours to be able to unlock, the top tier characters like Vader and Luke, etc. So that turned me off to it. Now, what he proposed is kind of what EA is doing with Battlefront right now, where they just turned everything off. You can just go play the game as it is, and then they're going to turn it back on and give communication to the community and let them know how the microtransactions are going to work in the game. Is it too late? Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. It's probably too late for me because, and this is just part of my personality, you burn me, I'm freaking out. I'm out. If you piss me off, I'm out. That's probably just a fault of me, but I'm a grumpy old man, so what do you expect from me, right? But I'm sure some people are going to give Battlefront 2 a second chance down the road. It is Star Wars. I mean, like I said, I played it on the PC. I played it on the PC the PlayStation 4, and graphically it's phenomenal. Like even when I played it at 83, playing the multiplayer, that was fun. I was having fun with it. Let's not get that twisted. It's just kind of a principle thing with me right now where I'm not going to give them my money or give them my time for something that I don't necessarily believe in. So it's almost kind of like my own personal protest, which I tell everyone, vote with your wallet when it comes to that stuff. So I have another voicemail that kind of gets into the loot box stuff. So before I continue, I want to play that. And Danny, this will be voicemail number 2.
Hey, what's up, Gamer Tag Radio? It's your boy Jacob from Charlotte giving you guys a call. Just a quick question for you guys. Do you guys think that microtransactions are ruining the artistry of gaming? Like, for example, like if you go to see a movie or something and you're like, oh man, this movie's awesome. And then halfway through it, they're like, hey, another $1 and we'll put an awesome, put some other awesome stuff into the movie for you. But when you go to experience a movie, you get your experience. You know what I'm saying? So with gaming, transactions, can you still consider games an art? Like a work of art still? Or is it just, thank you guys. Keep up the great of the show.
All right. I want to thank him for that voicemail as well. It kind of broke up a little bit there at the end, but I got the point that he was trying to make. Are loot boxes and microtransactions ruining the art form that is video games, right? Is video games still art if it's being, inundated with all these microtransactions and loot box scenarios that we see in today's gaming? That's a yes and a no answer to that. I say yes because, again, you can take an example like a Battlefront 2 where they're putting in the microtransactions and it's giving you a competitive advantage, and they did it in a deceptive way. And obviously, like I was saying on last episode, there's not a developer at DICE that wanted to do that. You can't tell me that they did. They just want to make kick-ass games. This is coming from an executive level. This is coming from a board level at EA, from a board level at Disney. Is like, how much money can we make off of this IP and this game? That's what they're trying to do. That's the whole point of that. And look, I understand that the cost of making AAA games has skyrocketed, and just spending your $60 is not going to be enough to recoup the cost. We had season passes in the past. Jesus, this is what happens when you go solo. Allow myself to introduce myself. You had season passes in the past, but those have started to kind of go away. I mean, you still see them in some titles, but not as prevalent as you may have seen them 2 or 3 years ago. But now the thing is, again, let's throw the loot boxes in there. Let's entice people to buy cosmetic items and other competitive things that they can kind of have a shortcut, from doing the grind of a game, especially, for a casual audience. I totally get something like that. But is it ruining it? Not in all titles. I'll go to a Warframe as an example, which is built off of a microtransaction model. Doesn't ruin that game, and people have a lot of fun with it and love it. But it goes back. This is how I think microtransactions should work for cosmetic items, for optional items that if you want to go do it, you can go do it, throw money at it. It's fine. But the core experience of the game is built into that $60 price point that you pay. And the game can live on through additional DLC. And if your game is good enough, people are going to spend the money to get that DLC. Let's take a Horizon Zero Dawn as an example, which is a Game of the Year contender. It has DLC this year. Without hesitation, throw my money at it and go pick up that DLC because I enjoyed that core game experience. So I want Guerrilla Games to continue to make these fantastic games, and I want to continue that story that I started in the core game. So I'm going to go spend the money on that DLC. Same with look at an Uncharted, like Lost Legacy is coming out. Or is out, excuse me. And that's something where it's its own full contained game, but it is essentially a DLC from Uncharted 4, right? You're going to go support that developer and get it. Destiny is obviously an example where, they have the expansions where you can go pick that up. It is a living, breathing game. You're going to continue to want to play it. Ghost Recon Wildlands, again, another example where you're going to want to go spend the money, continue that experience in the DLC. Assassin's Creed Origins, another fantastic, which should, by the way, be on the Game of the Year list for the Game Awards. I'll get to that in a little bit. Is another one that has an expansion to it. More than willing to spend the money to go get that. So does it ruin the experience as art? No. It is a necessary evil in today's gaming world. So I completely understand why they do it. But it really is a case by case basis. Does it have any what's the word I'm looking for? If it's ruining any artistic integrity to a game. So again, thank you for that voicemail. I really appreciate it. Excuse me, losing my voice a little bit. So actually, it's probably a good time to take a break. So let's take a break, and we'll go ahead and pay some bills with some ads, and we'll be right back.
At LV, our home insurance comes from the heart. It's not just about giving you a personal claims handler to take care of you all the way. It's about looking after you in other ways too. Like when you go direct to us, buy online and get a massive 25% discount. To see how much you could save with the Which Insurance Provider of the Year 2017, go direct to lv.com. Online discount for new customers only, excludes home emergency and home legal expenses.
Back on the scene.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
For the first time in 13 years, local hosts of Gamertag Radio are going to have the first live recording in front of an audience during PodFest 2018. This live recording event is free to attend February 9th, 2018 from 6 to 7 p.m. It's going to take place at PodFest Multimedia Expo 2018 in Orlando, Florida. See Paris, Pete, and Danny live at PodFest 2018. For more information, head over to gamertagradio.com or podfest.us.
You guys know at Gamertag Radio, we love to talk about gaming headsets, and I want to talk about our new sponsor, Sennheiser. Their aim was to design the most comfortable and best sounding closed professional headset on the market, and they think they have done that with their Game Zero headphones. The features include automatic microphone mute, noise canceling microphone, clear communication, comfortable leatherette earpads, collapsible design, closed acoustic design, and of course, that German engineered technology. So if you want to find out more, please go to Sennheiser.com/game-0. I want to say that again, Sennheiser.com/game-0, and find out why they think they've created the best sounding closed professional headset on the market over at Sennheiser, the Game Zero headphones.
Take it out.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, and we're back with Gamertag Radio, episode 720. It's Paris, just riding solo. And I left off reading voicemail, and I'm going to... Did I say read voicemails? This is what happens when you do it solo. So this is where I miss Danny or Pete. Keep me in check. They probably start laughing right now. So I just played some voicemail, and I want to play one more right now, which is going to kind of lead me into my next topic. So let's go ahead and play voicemail number 4, Danny, right now.
Hello, this is David from Baltimore, Maryland. I'd like to ask you guys your questions and predictions on PlayStation Experience that's coming out next week. There's going to be rumors that they're going to announce a new Devil May Cry 5 and Soul Calibur 6. And we're going to get like an announcement of the release date for God of War, Spider-Man, and Days Gone. And there are also rumors that we're going to get a new game plan for that new Sucker Punch New Samurai IP, which looks fantastic. I'm going to throw a little Miss Leo on you guys on the predictions. One of my predictions is that they're going to announce a new Scyther Filter game, and it's going to be a reboot of the series. And I would love to see a new Scyther Filter game, because the last Scyther Filter game was Logan Shadow on PlayStation Portable, PSP, but we never got it on PlayStation 3. But I would love to see a new Scyther Filter game come back. So what are all three of your predictions for PlayStation Experience? I enjoy the show very much and keep up the good work. Y'all have a nice, wonderful day. Thanks.
Again, thank you for that voicemail. I really appreciate it. So, PlayStation Experience. I actually will be attending here later this week. I'm planning on going to the keynote on Friday night, and then I'll be going on Sunday all day. Saturday, I'll have to skip. It is my oldest daughter's birthday, so I will not be going to PlayStation Experience. But as far as predictions go, I agree with him on some of the stuff he was saying. I mean, the Siphon Filter, it's about time for that to come back, so it will not shock me to see that. Devil May Cry, I believe it'll be 5 at this point. Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I could see Capcom rolling that back out now. I'm convinced Days Gone will get a release date at PlayStation Experience, especially since it was a no-show at the Paris Game Show. If it's not at PlayStation Experience, I'm officially worried about Days Gone because it means it's getting delayed again. They might be changing formats again. I don't know, but they initially said after E3 that game is coming out in 2018. So giving it a release date at PlayStation Experience makes a lot of sense. We know God of War is slated for 2018. Spider-Man is slated for 2018. I believe Detroit is also slated for 2018. So when you look at PlayStation from exclusive standpoint, they got a lot of heavy hitters coming out in the next 12 months, which, you know, as gamers should excite all of us. You know what I mean? Because those all sound like quality titles. We know that The Last of Us 2 is out on the horizon. I'm personally not expecting The Last of Us 2 until 2020, most likely launching with a PlayStation 5. You know, that's my Miss Leo prediction. But other than that, for PlayStation Experience, you know, I'm sure there'll be some other third-party indie titles that'll be getting shown off as well. Some new VR titles that were not shown at the Paris Games Week. But let's remember, PlayStation Experience is for the fans. That's what that event is for. It's kind of just that in-year celebration of everything PlayStation. So I'm excited to attend. I'm looking forward to seeing some new and old friends when I'm there. So it should be a good time, and I'll definitely have a report from the show. Not next Sunday's episode, obviously, but probably on Thursday's episode, I would imagine. I forget how the recording is going to work on that. But I'll definitely give a report from PlayStation Experience. And kind of like I was saying before, I will not be able to attend the Game Awards. Again, just work commitments, things, just time. I'm not going to be able to attend. But I'm also looking forward to the Game Awards. I really enjoy what Jeff Keighley has slowly evolved this thing into, from what it was originally on Spike TV, just being just a commercial for game trailers and just rolling out celebrities that no one really cared about to read from a script, to hand out awards, to actually celebrating the game industry. I mean, obviously I loved what he did for Hideo Kojima. Was that last year or the year before? I can't remember. It's starting to blur the lines. But ever since it's been here in LA and he's taken it online, where you can watch on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam, Twitch, YouTube, etc. Hell, it's in 4K now. You know, I'm loving that. But speaking on that, and there's a long list of all the nominees for the different categories, I kind of want to talk about the Game of the Year category really quick. I look at the candidates and I'm happy with all of them except one. So let's kind of recap who those are. You got Horizon Zero Dawn, you have Persona 5, you have Super Mario Odyssey, you have Legend of Zelda, and you have PUBG. I got a problem with PUBG. And I've told Pete this already. I'm sure Pete, if he's in the chat or hears this later, is probably screaming at me right now. But PUBG absolutely should not be in the Game of the Year category. If anything, where's Wolfenstein 2 or where is Assassin's Creed Origins, which rightfully should be on that list? PUBG is not even a 1.0 game yet. It will be on December 12th. I get it. It's coming out, preview on Xbox as well. For the PC, it'll be 1.0, but it's also coming out in game preview on Xbox, so people on Xbox on the console will finally be able to experience it. And when I say PUBG doesn't belong, it's not that it isn't a quality title. It absolutely is. If anything, I need to play it more, because when I have played it, I have a freaking blast. I mean, hell, half our Discord community right now is addicted to the game and they play it on a nightly basis. Pete is streaming it all the time. It's not that it isn't fun. It's not that it hasn't taken a game genre and flipped it on its head and become a phenomenon. That is not what I'm saying at all. My point is, it's not a finished game. And you have so many other quality titles out there. Why are we putting an unfinished game into the Game of the Year category? I fully don't expect it to win. I mean, it's going to be Mario Odyssey or Zelda, in my personal opinion. So I would be shocked, if it did win. But I feel like a game like Assassin's Creed or Wolfenstein deserves that shine. And it's not getting that shine and being put on that rightful pedestal along with Horizon Zero Dawn, Mario, Persona 5, and Zelda. And that's where it should be. So it is what it is at this point. Again, this is a celebration of the game industry. I mean, this is just my own personal thought or rant. It's not hurting anything that PUBG is in there. If anything, it just gives them more exposure. And like I said, on December 12th, when it comes to Xbox, it's going to open up that game to a whole... I cannot talk this morning, and I do apologize, folks, but it's going to open that game up to a whole new audience, and people on console should be excited about it. If anything, I'm curious to go play it on console. I do not own an Xbox, which I guess I should address that right now as well. I've talked about an after show a little bit on Twitter, but a few weeks ago, I did go buy an Xbox One and I brought it to my house. I hooked it up to my 4K TV. My son was excited. I was excited. And then I got into that dashboard menu. And mind you, I've not been on an Xbox dashboard in 2.5, 3 years at this point. I think whenever I got rid of my Xbox One, and it was jarring to me. I'm just not used to it. I was not used to it. I started to get frustrated with it. I didn't like it. I just flat out did not like it. And the fact that I was already on the fence about having Xbox One X, and it was kind of a 50-50 proposition to me. Yes, the hardware, the tech on it is amazing. The price is very fair, in my opinion. This is no knock against the power of what the Xbox One X can do. It's about the ease of use for it and how it fits into my current lifestyle. And I can tell you right now, I felt like I was going to force myself to have to play on the Xbox One. So I returned it. I returned it to Best Buy and I got my money back. And I will revisit this at a later date. This is my own personal choice. This isn't a hating on Xbox or no, you shouldn't go get an Xbox One X. This isn't that at all. This is just my own personal feelings on the matter. So I decided that I didn't need an Xbox One X right now. Again, I have a PC that is more than capable of playing every Xbox Play Anywhere title in 4K at a high resolution. I already have a PlayStation 4 Pro. I already have a Nintendo Switch. It was just going to be a luxury item, in my opinion, to have an Xbox One X. So I'll look at it again in the future. Maybe that Halo Master Chief Collection redone tempts me. I don't know. Maybe PUBG on a console does tempt me to want to go get one. But as it stands today, I just simply don't need one. And I figured I'll wait, keep the $500 in my pocket instead of just have it sitting under my living room TV collecting dust. And we'll revisit it at a later future. So if you guys got any comments, you want to yell at me about that or whatever, feel free. But it's just my own personal decision. But going back to the Game Awards really quick, and then I'll wrap this up. I'm excited for Thursday because, like I said, it is a celebration of the game industry, all the different categories, all the different titles that are going to be spotlighted and celebrated by our industry, by our community, has me excited. Even the people behind the games that'll be able to come up on stage and we'll be able to put a face in front of a camera that's usually behind the game that we never get to see is also an exciting thing as well. So, I'm really looking forward to, like in the indie category, as an example, I fully expect Cuphead to win. That was just such a phenomenal indie title that really harkened back to the old days of gaming in the 80s when gaming was actually pretty freaking hard. And I loved every second that I said words that my children should not hear playing Cuphead, but I loved every minute of it at the same time. So I really hope to see that game win. And like I said, in the Game of the Year category, I'm fully expecting, I think it should be Mario Odyssey, but I'm expecting Zelda to take it. The upset of all upsets would be Horizon Zero Dawn, which I feel I'm happy that it made the list because I thought a lot of people were sleeping on the game, but obviously, out in the industry, people were not sleeping on that game. It is a fantastic first effort from Guerrilla Games to make that type of open world game. It's exclusive on the PlayStation 4. So if you don't have one, have a PlayStation and you do get a PlayStation, I highly suggest you go pick up that title. It's fantastic. I've not played the DLC yet. Heard the DLC is a lot of fun as well. I mean, it's just a gorgeous game in 4K and HDR as well. It plays fun. The story's good. Everything about it is fantastic. So it won't win, in my opinion, but I'm happy to see it up there on the stage with the rest of those games. So make sure on Thursday night, check out the Game Awards. Like I said, it's going to be everywhere online. Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, etc. So it won't be hard to find. And who knows, we might have a Twitch chat going on at the time, or at least a Discord or something like that. So again, if you're not a part of our Discord community, join our Discord community now. We have a lot of fun on there. It's growing every day, and just fantastic being able to interact with everyone in the community there. So I think that's it for all the listener emails and voicemails that I'm going to read, except for one. And let me kind of look at the clock here. How much time we got here? Okay. I'm going to transition because Paris is riding his solo because I have to talk about this. So I'm going to read one more email here, and this is going to take me right into my final topic for this week's episode. And this is from, and I don't want to say his name wrong, but it's Gokhan. I believe that's how you say it. And I'll read it now. He says, "Hey, Paris, Danny, and Pete. I know the show is all about video games, but what about that trailer for Avengers Infinity War? And also, have you guys seen Justice League? If so, your thoughts and review. This is about," I think he's saying this isn't about a DC or Marvel fanboy war discussion. I just would love to hear your reviews. As always, love you guys. Great content and peace." And then he says his name, Gokhan Kaya, and then in parentheses, "Yes, it sounds like the character from DBZ, sad face. I've lost count of how many times I've heard that. LOL." Well, again, thank you. And looks like he's from Australia, so I appreciate that email. So let's get into this. I have to get into this. I can't not get into this. People that know me, I did a podcast called Remember When since 2008, and we've slacked mightily in the past couple years to where it's not dead, but and it's mainly on me. We do GTR and just work and everything. I've just not had the time. I also do another podcast called Two Big Topics with Chris, and I'm sure he's mad at me right now too because we've been slacking as well. And this is totally 100% my fault. Just with everything going on in my life right now, it's just been hectic. But since I'm here solo on Gamertag Radio this week and Danny's not here to stop me, I got to talk about this stuff. Okay. Justice League first. I have not seen Justice League, and I will not go see Justice League. I'll see it when it's on Netflix or cable or whatever. But I just knew too much behind the scenes with all the issues that they were having with the reshoots, with Josh Whedon coming in, the mustache gate with Henry Cavill and Superman, Ben Affleck not wanting to be Batman anymore, and just everything that went along with it. I just said, let's wait to see what people say first before I go see it. And people have basically spoken, and this movie is a colossal flop. It's probably going to cost some people their jobs at this point. It's not a laughing matter, but it's probably going to cost some people their jobs at this point. The direction that the DC universe was going to go absolutely is going to change. Affleck's out. They're going to go a different direction with Batman. I know people keep talking Flash and Flashpoint. I highly doubt that movie gets made. If this Aquaman movie next year doesn't do gangbusters, they'll pivot on that as well. Wonder Woman is probably the only saving grace that they have right now at DC, and they absolutely need to double down on Gal Gadot, do Wonder Woman 2, and just build everything around her. Reboot Batman, do it right. Reboot this whole Batman versus Superman universe, and just do it the right way and take your time, which transitions me into this. That Infinity War trailer was everything 10-year-old Paris could have possibly hoped and dreamed to see from a comic book translated onto a movie screen. And the reason I literally had chills when I watched that Infinity War trailer. And the reason being is this thing all started on a risk with an actor who had a troubled past in Robert Downey Jr. back in 2008 with the original Iron Man. And they took their time, and it's not been perfect along the way, but they've taken their time. They've done 10 years of world building to get to this point right now where we are. When Thanos showed up on screen, I knew who he was. I knew what he was about. I knew what he was trying to do. And I knew the Avengers were in trouble. Every Avenger that showed up on their screen, I didn't need an explanation of their history, of what they're about, what they're going to do. You knew already because they systematically built up all these characters over the past 10 years. And now we're looking at the culmination here with Infinity War and then Avengers 4 going into 2019, to where I can't imagine this being topped, you know, in the next couple of decades, what they're doing right now to have this collection of high caliber actors, you know, all these superheroes, the villain, everything that they're doing right now has culminated over these past 10 years. And I'm just so excited for it. I cannot wait until May 4th when I can see it. Now, look, we got a little pit stop along the way. February 16th, 2018, the blackest movie on the planet comes with Black Panther. And that's probably the other thing, too. I love Black Panther. I love that it looks like the set piece of Infinity War is going to happen in Wakanda. I love that Black Panther is centralized in all of this. You know, I could go on and on about this, but I'm so excited to see what happens. And look, this is just my personal theory. This isn't a spoiler or anything. I fully expect the Avengers in Infinity War to be splintered. It looks like people are going to be in their own different little teams. And then Thanos and the Black Order are systematically going around getting all the Infinity Stones. And then at some point in Avengers 4, he's going to get them all. He's going to snap his finger. He's going to wipe out half the universe, right? And then it's going to take Tony and Cap putting aside their differences, bringing the Avengers all together as one group to take out Thanos. Captain Marvel obviously is going to come in at this point, and they take out Thanos. I expect Cap to make the ultimate sacrifice. Tony doesn't die, but he quote unquote goes away, probably rides off into the sunset with Pepper, and then we'll go into phase 4. But Tony will have to live with that burden of Cap sacrificing himself, and then Winter Soldier or Falcon or someone takes up the mantle of Captain America moving forward. That's just my wacky theory. And one other wacky theory I have is Banner's in that Hulkbuster. And I think there's one or two reasons why he's in the Hulkbuster. Thanos, with the help of one of the Infinity Stones, either has split Banner and Hulk, so they're actually two different personalities now. They're separate people. Or he's basically made it so that Banner can't turn into Hulk. And maybe something happens with Black Widow or something. And then I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. But I think there is a definitive reason tied into Thanos and the Infinity Stones why we see Banner in the Hulkbuster and not just actually turning into Hulk. So, and then spoilers for Thor Ragnarok, which I won't get into. There could be other reasons as well, but we'll talk about that here. So that's Infinity War. That's Justice League for me. It's disappointing with the whole DC franchise because I was genuinely excited for Batman and Superman. My good friend Phoenix and I, when they originally announced it, we said back then, I think that was 2012 or something like that, why aren't they doing Man of Steel 2? Why are they force feeding Batman into this? They're rushing it. We said it back then, and then here we are into 2017, and it looks like we're 100% right about the whole DC franchise. But there's still hope out there. They just need to take a step back, go into the solo movies, not try to just rush to get to the big team up movie. Do the solo movies, get the origin stories out of the way, establish these characters, make us care about them, because that's what Marvel did. They made us care about Iron Man. Like if you go back to the old days of Remember When, one of my biggest worries was them leading up to that Avengers movie and was they got to establish Captain America and make him the leader. I have to believe that Cap is the leader over the overbearing Tony Stark. I would say that over and over. And they made me believe. Hell, the best Marvel movies have been Captain America movies, Winter Soldier and then Civil War. And I believe Cap as that leader. I want to follow Cap. That's what they've done. You know, if anything, Tony Stark is a freaking a-hole. You know, when you really look at it, all the problems that they've had, you know, throughout these 10 years, most of them are because of Tony Stark. And I love that. I love how they brought the Guardians of the Galaxy into. They took this obscure comic that the mass audience knew nothing about. And now we actually care about a talking tree and a talking raccoon. You know, That's what DC has to do. They got to take their time, get the right creative people in place, and get these things working so that we can be excited to throw our monies at the movie screen and run out to go see these movies. And competition is great. I want Marvel to have competition. And the only way they're going to get competition is DC getting their stuff together, slowing down, and cultivating these characters and doing it the right way. And then maybe we get another Justice League 10 years from now after they've actually done it the right way. So I'll stop rambling. I know I've been talking a lot here, but I just want to say to everyone in the chat room, thank you for hanging out with me while I was doing this. Everyone listening to this, thank you for listening to this podcast. Danny, again, please remind everyone where they can leave us feedback.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right. Again, thank you everyone for checking out episode 720 of Gamertag Radio. Please leave feedback. Let me know what you think of the solo effort. Danny and Pete will be on the next episode. Unfortunately, I won't be. Again, just commitments. My son is playing 2 sports right now. So just between practice time and games, that's why you haven't seen me a lot on the Wednesday shows, because I'm usually doing one of the 2 with him. But all that stuff obviously is going to be slowing down here. The holidays are coming up. I know next week, all 3 of us will be together in San Francisco for an undisclosed event, but we're all going to be together. We'll probably record some stuff together when we're in San Francisco, which should be a lot of fun. And I don't know when we'll be able to talk about that content we're going to see in San Francisco, but trust me, you guys are really going to enjoy that as well. But I think that's it, man. I think that's it for this episode. Had a good time. Like I said, I hope I didn't ramble too much. Just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out there. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So again, this has been episode 20 of Gamertag Radio. I'm Paris, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Gamertag Radio is on radio.com.
You can now watch Gamertag Radio live on Twitch.
Get all the latest news and coverage related to the gaming industry.
Join hosts Danny Pena, Paris Lilly, and Peter Toledo.
Don't miss the crew record the podcast live Sundays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get involved with the conversation, send us questions, and be part of the show.
Gamertag Radio.
Follow us, twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio.